hell out. I don't like recording my face. Blah, 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 blah. Welcome back to me. This is my face. Welcome back to my face. I'm so terrible at recording my face that I literally have to tape a little tiny face on the side of my phone so that I look at it instead of looking over there or over here. Alright, so I'm going to talk to the little tiny post-it note face. Welcome back to my channel. It's kind of weird having a TV channel. It's not really TV, but I guess it is now. I'm going to say a bunch of crap, and then I'm going to have to edit all of this out. I know, because I'm not great at talking to the camera. But I watch so many people do this over and over and over. You just have to start, I hear. You just have to start. So, I'm starting. I also hate the sound of my voice, even when I'm talking right now, like hearing my voice. Plus, my ears are going, so now I sound even weirder to myself. This is what happens when you get older. This is me. My name is Amanda. This is me. My name is Amanda. I'm an artist. That's all I want to do all day long is make art. You may or may not have seen me on the internet before. I don't put my face up here very much. I used to make vlogs, and then I just stopped because it gets hard to edit your face all day. I don't mind editing, but when it's my face and my voice, I'm like, ew. Alright, what was I going to tell you about? In honor of Virgo season, I thought I'd make a little video sharing stuff about me. Let's pretend somebody asked me questions. Do you remember those questionnaires that you'd have to do at the beginning of school? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite food? Something like that. I think I'll just start there. I'm a little weird in good ways, I suppose. Not creepy, disgusting ways. Maybe a little creepy and disgusting. Maybe. Just a little. I have a great love of dead stuff. Bones. Dead things. Collect the bones. Maybe or maybe not, I was destined to be a taxidermist. Never really fulfilled that one, even though my parents tried to help with that. I have 2 cats and 1 dog. There they are. What else? My favorite color. My favorite color is black. And don't start to tell me that black's not a color. I know. I get it. All you color Nazis and words. Other colors that are not black. I like seafoam green. I like red. I don't wear red. I like mustard yellow. I like a lot of colors, but I don't wear them because I don't think I look good in them. My hair was blue. You can't tell. But, yeah, doesn't matter. It's old hair. Old hair. I also don't wear any makeup, mostly because I can't put it on very well. At best, if I need to look gooder, I wear earrings and I wear eyeliner. That's as fancy as it gets. If I wear lipstick, it is all over me and things within 5 minutes of me putting it on, so there's no point in that one. No makeup. We're all cool here. I look a lot younger than I am. So lucky to be carded 20 some odd years after I was old enough to buy stuff. Yes, now you can do math and guess my age. I don't care. I've been an artist most of my life. I have spent a large chunk of years being a teaching artist. I taught K through 8th grade, all the schools in my district pretty much. I did lessons on puppetry, printmaking, art journaling, and sewing, which I should back all that up and explain why I know how to do these things. Rough outline of my creative journey would be creative writing. I won a NASA award for an essay I wrote when I was a kid. Yeah. Collage. I've loved collage a lot, still do. I made a lot of zines. I self-published my own poetry books. I have been into photography, went to school briefly, learned how to develop my own film and all that. What after that? Textiles, mostly quilting and soft sculpture, thanks to my grandma. She's been long gone, but she handed me that talent. Painting. I got into painting a lot right before I had a kid. And after I had a kid, I still painted a lot. Then also simultaneously, as being a new mom, I needed something easier to do quickly all the time. So I art journal and have been art journaling for 10 years now, I just realized. And I'm on number 30. So I think some art journal tours would be appropriate for me to share. I think I have 2 to 3 on my channel here, but they're random. Maybe when I finish those journals, and it's definitely not number 30, which I'm almost done with. So 30 plus art journals. I've made more zines, and more recently I've gotten heavy into sculpture and miniatures. And yes, I say miniatures because I like to. Okay, that's kind of art stuff that I make. I dabble in anything I can. I firmly believe in trying all kinds. There's a bug. Trying all kinds of different art as much as possible, because growing your artistic skill set leaves all doors open when you have a creative idea. So if I think of something, I can approach it in any way I want at any time. And I keep most supplies for these things on hand at all times too. So yes, I have too many art supplies, as many people do. I don't really think it's too many. I just need a bigger house. In fact, that is my biggest goal at this point in my life, to buy a property, a large house on a lot of acres, so that I don't have to see people, but still be within walking / driving distance of normal amenities for life. So maybe fully off-grid, but near enough to people so I don't forget how to behave around people. Because I stay at home all day now, and I'm slowly forgetting how to behave appropriately around people, which is fine. I don't like most of them. That's Mr. Creepers. It was my son's obsession purchase when the pandemic hit. So yes, I bought a life-size skeleton for him to play with, and it happens to be relatively my size in bone form, which is a little creepy. But now he hangs out behind my chair because he lost an arm in battle with the children. I am a mother, as you've guessed from how many times I mentioned that. I have one 11-year-old son who is almost the same size as me. And that will give you an idea that, no, I'm not very tall. A very giant 5'2" I am. What else? My favorite food. Oh, I'm a huge pizza fan. I like pizza a lot. I do eat an obscene amount of potato chips lately. Lay's. I don't know why, but there have been a couple of Lay's brands that they discontinued that I would kill for. Mainly just one. It's Cuban sandwich flavor, and they won't bring it back. I've been waiting almost 2 years now, but it was during the summer, and I can't believe they won't make that again. If you know where I could buy those, or if you could buy Cuban sandwich flavored Lay's anywhere where you live, I almost would pay to have them shipped to me. Do you know why? They taste exactly like an In-N-Out burger, which might sound gross in your mind, but if you've eaten In-N-Out, which is a United States West Coast thing, maybe only California thing, I'm not sure, it is like crack. It's kind of like crack. So I have a weird obsession with eating too many crisps, as we say, not here. I would live in England probably easily. Oh, let's see, what else? Weird facts about me. I prefer to not wear shoes. I live in Southern California, so that kind of helps that one, not wearing shoes a lot. Yes, this is the land of raging fire and unnecessary heat, which is also part of the why I'd like to move to the East Coast and live on some sort of acreage, in weather that changes appropriately with seasons. There's currently going to be 103 degrees today in late August here. It may stay like that for a week, I don't know, but it's unbearable. I am outside because it is not unbearable yet. Let's see. I have never traveled past the United States and Mexico. I'd like to visit another continent, that'd be cool, but I have been to a great deal many states and about 4 or 5 places in Mexico, further to the bottom and towards the top. I do not speak fluent Spanish. Hold on. I have a cat that wants to climb into the fish tank, so every noise I hear, I think that's where he's going. I don't speak fluent Spanish, but I try to practice all the time. My son's father is from Mexico, but my son does not speak any Spanish. I speak more Spanish than he does, so we may get there together. Let's see. I said I had 2 cats, 1 dog, and a fish. Did I say the fish? The fish is unnecessarily ancient at this point. I'm gonna guess he's probably like 8+ years old and just can't die. He won't die. I'm atrocious at taking care of his fish tank, and he prefers it that way. But my newest family member, aka Little Cat, we call him Widget. He is not little. He is almost 10-12 pounds at 1 year old. He is quite the hunter and climber. And it's been a battle because my other cat is 12 and she could care less. The dog is almost 6. We adopted him during the pandemic too, which he was supposed to be small, medium dog, and he is a not medium, 89 pounds. He's a beagle door. You can Google that. It's like a lab beagle mix, but I'm pretty sure he has other stuff in him because his tail is curled and his hair is wiry like a terrier, so there's other stuff in him, but he's a dork. I suppose I should say more things about my art. I guess I can show you some stuff. We'll insert it here of things I've made previously. Enjoy the view. Given all the art I make, I do enjoy teaching and sharing processes of how to make art, so it would make a lot of sense if I put some effort into making videos and sharing my work, yeah? I'm not doing anything else at the moment since I lost my full-time job, thank gosh. I hated that job. But that was the main reason why I wasn't making any art or visible on the internet for the last 1.5 years almost. So before that I finished college and I regret that fully. That was a waste of my life and a giant bill of $25,000, which anybody want to chip into paying that? I won't pay it. I'm just gonna write it out. It'll take years, but I refuse to pay the government anything at this moment. I said a bad word right there. That's probably the one thing that pisses me off the most is where I live. So if you don't live in the United States, I'm sure you can imagine the terrors we are living through having a giant moron running around thinking he's in charge of stuff. Okay, that's enough comments about that. We really don't talk about political stuff ever. Never. Just know I'm madder than I've ever been. And it feels unnecessary. Like, I shouldn't have to be this mad. What else? I did mention that I've been into sculptures and miniatures. Miniature-wise, that was an obsession that hit while I was finishing college because I needed something to do with my hands. turns out I obsessively will build miniature furniture. I built a dollhouse that I bought from a kit. That took me a few months. That's a video I've never finished and not shared, so you could look forward to that if I get my shit together. I got a lot of videos I made that I just didn't finish because I started doing something else. There's my problem. I have trouble finishing things sometimes. I get caught up in a new idea and just run with it, which is cool, but it would feel better if I had more finished stuff, I know. I hope you can hear me. I hope my microphone's working. I hope this isn't terrible audio. I'm probably gonna post it almost unedited anyway, so we'll just see how it goes. What else is on those stupid questionnaires? I told you my favorite foods, which is about pizza and chips. I don't eat a lot of sweet stuff anymore. I don't know why. I kind of grew out of eating sweet stuff. I enjoy beer quite a bit. That's probably why I don't eat sweets, is because it's in the beer. Whatever. I drink coffee. I drink beer. I could drink more water. I should, but whatever. I was born in Arizona, though I live in California. I don't really want to move back to Arizona. I mean, I only lived there for a year while I was a baby, but there have been moments recently where I've considered that would be a cool place to live, especially in northern Arizona where it's more like foresty, which is where I was born. But part of me just wants to be in a whole nother seasonal realm like the East Coast, which I do have experience with the East Coast. My dad's on the East Coast, so I have lots of experience up and down East Coast. I will never live in Florida with him. Sorry, Dad. Can't stand Florida. No. Do like the Gators, but don't want to be in Florida. The South is a little hard because of the sticky, but it's sticky all the way up the East Coast in the summer anyway, so sticky less up higher you go. I am an artist. I am not a musician. Kind of fairly terrible at sound and rhythms and melodies, maybe. Never thought I was that great, but I did participate in having an experimental band with a friend of mine like a decade ago, and we did make a full weird-ass album, and Canadian Pirate Radio played it. I wish that was something cool to say, but it was on a radio station. Some radio station actually played our full album, so I might have been slightly famous for a smidgen, but our group disbanded within a year and we went different ways. We're still good friends, but we don't make music together anymore. Oddly enough, almost every romantic partner or love in my life has been a musician, but I am not one. So what's that say? Am I obsessed? I don't know. I don't really care about playing instruments. I like goofing around. I like playing music without any proper skill. That gives me great joy. Harmonica is about the one that I will always play, and I'm terrible at it, but I'll play it for hours. What else could I tell you that's weird that I never tell anyone on the internet or anything? Not that I tell anyone on the internet anything. I run an Etsy shop that I enjoy thoroughly making things from trash and recycling them into usable products. So I've spent a lot of years making art journals, blanks out of old books, and a lot of art journals and booklets made from trash, like waste ads, like the junk mail you get, junk mail stuff. I love turning junk mail into books. Just gives it a new life, and it's not as depressing as consumerist crap. I upcycle all envelopes. I make giant scrap packs. I'm kind of very obsessed with upcycling recyclable things into art supplies. Oh, that's a nice noise. I'm sorry. Plane! I also live kind of close to a small plane airport, like on the other side of a hill from me, so yeah. I enjoy being on the ground, not being in the air. I have flown hundreds of times in my life, but I prefer walking. which takes longer. I'm not a big swimmer. I can swim, don't like to. I have trained as a scuba diver even as a kid, don't like it as much. I don't belong in the ocean. That's probably the one place I know I shouldn't be all the time. I'll touch the ocean. I'm not swimming in it though. No thank you. Unless it's the Caribbean. Because the Caribbean's quite nice, I tell you. That's like bath water and the water's clear, and snorkeling could be my only jam. If I'm ever in the ocean again, I'll be snorkeling in the Caribbean. Or other waters around the world that are equally beautiful. Not the Pacific Ocean, not the Atlantic Ocean, though I have swam in both. No thank you. What else is odd and random and unnecessary to share? I recently, within the last couple of years, have been trying to read more books because somehow I never find the time. And I have finished a handful of books in the last year, which I was like, I don't know the last time I finished a book. I always start the books. There's like 3 books I've started years ago, never finish them. So now I have to reread them. But I do enjoy reading a lot. I read lots of different things. Favorite authors, Anne Carson, Autobiography of Red. It's like one of my favorite books ever. And I really love Anne Rice novels. No, not because I was obsessed with vampires when I was younger, and gothic horror in general is kind of my jam. But Anne Rice has a style of writing that is unmatched in description. You can hear it read and see clearly and feel like you're there. So even her non-vampire ones, even the Our Lord Christ or whatever book, I read that. I own it. It's fantastic. I do enjoy studying religions and that kind of thing. I'm not religious, but I am fascinated by all of them. I don't think that's a topic we need to go into anyway. Unless you needed to know. You guys can leave more questions in the comments below if there's stuff that I didn't say. I don't know. Nobody asks me questions anyway, usually. I have 2 tattoos. You can see them both. There's one, and the other one's back here. I'm not turning around because it's not even pretty. It's like a blob. I have my nose pierced, which I have had since I was 17, and I did it myself. And no, I'm not somebody that can harm themselves easily like that. It was a one-time thing that I had the conviction to do, and much to the surprise of my mother when she said, yes, you can get your nose pierced, she did not expect me to come out of the bathroom 2 hours later with it done. I have my ears pierced too. I did do the second hole of those. There's 2 in each, but not important, I guess. Sculpture wise, and the miniatures, I haven't been making miniatures right now, but I did just design some new plush character things, which I'm not going to show you just yet because I'm going to have a better video explaining that and showing the process. But it is something that was randomly inspired by a mutual internet friend, Tamara, and her obsession with eggs. And that just hit me in the weirdest way, and I started going off in my head about eggs, and primarily Humpty Dumpty. So, like I said, that'll be a future video. I don't know. I've covered everything. I am an early riser. I like to get up pretty early. Mostly I have to for getting my kid to school, but I was getting up really early for a year and a half for a job too. So like 5 a.m. is a preferred time. Lately I've been getting up at 6 because I don't need to get up at 5, but if I knew I could every day, I would. I also like to be up late at night though, so it doesn't really work both ways. I'm a little too old to pull that off so easily and comfortably, but I prefer working at night, and I prefer working first thing in the morning. Mornings are hitting the best though because my brain is still working. Speaking of age and brain, I am not yet old enough to have menopause, but I am old enough to be tortured in the perimenopause. It's ridiculous. It's like having menopause, that's all. So, brain gone. Hot, weirdly. Cold, weirdly. Irritable all the frick time for nothing. Instability in female body cycles. In general, it feels like up and down on a roller coaster, but I'm sure that as soon as I key into the actual cycle that I'm having, it will change because it's extremely unpredictable. So far, no one's died though, so I feel some days I'm close to that. Got gray hair like crazy, but you can't see it right now because I dyed it. I think the last time I put my face on the internet, I may have had a shaved head, which this is actually only almost a year of growing it out, which I've had it cut back up a couple of times, but I'm thinking right now at this age I'm gonna forego having long hair because it's a pain in the ass. And my hair grows ridiculously fast, and in 3 short years would be well to the middle of my back if I grew it out. But I've had long hair off and on throughout my life, and it's not something I care to deal with. As much as I don't put makeup on, I don't even like brushing my hair. So the less hair I have to deal with, the better. Yeah. What else? I'm trying. Nothing's coming to mind. Oh, I love board games. Quite obsessed with board games. In fact, my partner and I are growing our mad collection of any board game, all board games. Yeah, favorite board game at this point? I don't know. I really like strategy kinds of games, and like Sequence is a good one. I guess one of my all-time favorites is Rummikub, which is from my grandmother again. I was the only one that would play with her, so Rummikub is my jam, and I'm quite good at it. But someday in the future, in that farmhouse acreage, there will be more books than any human should have, because unfortunately it's turning into Fahrenheit 451 here. And I am determined to never get rid of another book, just in case these are all the books we ever have again. And if I could have a house, I would fill it with books and invite anybody over to browse the books anytime. Yeah. In fact, my partner would love to have a bookstore, but then we'd have to never ship it anywhere, and you can only buy them in person because you might be working for the machine eating books. Books, board games. I collect a lot of weird knickknacks, little tiny things. Movies. I love watching movies. We have a subscription to Eternal TV right now, which, if you don't know what that is, look it up. It's worth it if you like art films and weird films, and it's nothing beats it. You can't find these films anywhere else. And in fact, we watched a really awful 90s movie last weekend called Amanda and the Alien, and it was uncomfortably too much like me. Like, the character Amanda was too much like me. So you find all kinds of fun stuff on there, but David Lynch movies, obviously close to my heart. What else? I have been semi-aspiring to be a comic artist and draw more in the last few years, which I can draw, I know I can, but I haven't done it well since I was a teenager, and everything I draw right now feels like complete rubbish. But I think we're gonna grit our teeth, and I'll give some sketchbook tours just to explain how hard it is when you have to just keep working at it and keep working at it and keep working at it. In fact, I'm pretty certain I could paint anything better than I could draw it. I'm always wanting to learn, though, and practice is part of that. You need to keep practicing. Even if I think I'm really good at something, I still have to practice it. The one thing I feel like I will never forget how to do and can do endlessly with great skill is sew. By hand or with machine. I have spent at least 10 years of my life studying sewing and know how to make anything, everything. There is not a sewing method I'm unaware of or have not tried and maybe perfected, but as far as sewing my own clothes, I very well could and have, but I find it incredibly boring for some reason. Maybe when I move and get rid of everything I own, I will want to because I have no clothes, but honestly, I'm the type of person that will wear like 2 things all week long too, so like this dress goes to my knees. This is about all I need to wear, and this is a box. I can make this in 5 minutes if I needed to. What are other weird questions? What is my greatest skill? Like an interview, right? What is your greatest skill that you bring to this job? I have a good sense of humor, but it tends to be a little morbid and sarcastic. My greatest skill would probably be patience, because I will outweight any idiot and win still. Can you tell I'm a Virgo yet? I'm a Virgo with Leo rising, which I almost never would know that given how I don't care to be in a spotlight, but I do. I have the self-confidence of a king, basically. Queen, king, I don't care. Whoever is the scariest in charge. What is your greatest weakness? Tolerating idiots. This is probably why I have found it easier to avoid human contact in the largest sense. I've got like 0 tolerance for morons, and the world feels like it's filling up with them faster and faster and faster. And they may not be necessarily stupid. I think the biggest stupidity to me is the actual lack of awareness of others, which somehow all of our media and society has trained people to ignore life around them and think that they are the only thing that exists or is important. So that kind of idiocy. You could be really, really dumb, and I could put up with that as long as you acknowledge others, and it's not really stupidity, I guess. It's ignorance of others, and I will not, and I may be the first person to say it out loud, you know. I do tend to swear a lot, but I'm not going to on the videos because I don't want a child to actually watch this and be like, but my art teacher swears. I can too. I'm not teaching art right now, but if I did, I do want that to come back to haunt me. But you may hear me use the F word occasionally. Probably. Whatever. I mean, most children swear now anyways, so. Anything else? Subject matter I prefer making in art. That's a good one. People. I prefer doing sculptures of beings, creatures, and painting abstract faces, portraits. Photography wise, I prefer photos of nature, but not sometimes people. I just don't think I take really super awesome photos of people, but I think I'm a pretty decent nature photographer because I'm impatient. Favorite animal? I do like my cats, but I mean, they're mine. I'm a little biased. I like spiders a lot. See? Patience. Quietly working on art. Patience. I have been known to keep spiders as pets too. I like beetles a lot too, but I'm not going to keep them because I think they've got better things to do than hang out with me. Maybe this is all I need to say right now, I guess. If you think of anything else that I may have missed, This is a ridiculously long video of me talking, facing the camera, so I think this may or may not freak me out later, but I'm gonna do my best to just throw it on the internet. Me and my Mr. Creeper, I think that's what his name was, Mr. Creepers. I don't know. My son was 5. He named him, but was 5, I say, was when we got this guy. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna end it here. I will tell you I will tell you that I have a little Etsy shop. It's called The Little Weirdos. Go figure, I'm a weirdo. And I also have a Patreon that I almost never do things on anymore, but I'm trying really hard to bring it back. So if that's a way you feel like throwing money at me, I would appreciate it, because the faster I can make large sums of money, the faster I can escape the hell that is Southern California. And that might even inspire me to make a whole video series on how the hell to move across the country with a bunch of shit, a lot of animals, and a kid. I have no idea how I'd do that, but I'm gonna need a bunch of money, unfortunately, and a property to move to. We shall see what the future holds. So, I have grand plans, but I do have that Patreon. It's under my name, and I have changed it up a little bit, and will be actually attempting to do a snail mail thing again. So, fingers crossed. I am inspired to keep it going, because mostly it's like talking into a void, and I'm all, fuck this. Oh, there we go. Fuck this. I don't care anymore, and I just ignore it. But I do have 2 patrons that support me without me doing anything, but I think they know how much I love them. I think so, and it will pay off someday. I promise. You should never make promises, but I do. Oh, I'm so sweaty. I guess it's time to go inside, because it's now approaching 90-something degrees over here. Alright, so without my glasses, because I do need these now when doing most things. I love it when I go places and I forget them, because I'm all, oh, what's that say? I will see you soon. There's the face. There's the face. I will see you soon. Go ahead and leave out any questions. Maybe I'll do another one of these closer to my birthday, which is in 2 weeks. I think. Yeah. Yeah, it's 2 weeks from today. Birthdays. I'm happy to be alive, though. That's all. Alright, I don't know a good outro other than bye. Bye. See you soon. How do I do that better? Bye. No, I feel. How do you guys say bye? Ciao. There we go. Ciao.